being double verification or just don't have time more than enough. It's fun.
Mic's working at all? Or...
Right side one. Just a little bit.
Turned on that negative 18. Yeah, where's Linda? What's that? You held that from last meeting? It was, minutes should say it was held from last time. You told me no.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like 2 meetings ago?
No. I said not until we get hired.
Linda, oh, there she is. Okay. So, were you talking about me? Yeah. How it was working. Oh, Dolly knows. Yes. Hard. But we did it, and we did substitute fuel for our fire.
You just skipped over it. You couldn't do it because Joe wasn't on there.
Was it? That was the one that you wanted to hold off on, right?
Yeah. That was the one.
Yeah. What's that? Alright, let me pull.
It's on page 3, number 2.
I saw it was, I made a motion for DPW, and I wasn't in attendance.
You weren't in attendance.
It says there's like 4 people present.
Oh, is this one of the older minutes? Yeah, I had to piecemeal a bunch of stuff together. So, that was the, which meeting was it? The 11th? Alright, I can correct that. Alright, so... So, are you talking about D, Stelia? Yeah, the motion was to postpone.
Oh, yeah, all right. I read the other one and then dropped down.
Okay, that's right. I got it actually going on YouTube now.
Is that YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You talking about the cable station, though?
Yeah. I don't know what technology use it. Well, I know what technology use it. I'm going to call over the town board meeting at the Town of Lisbon Town Hall on Monday, July 27, 2020 at 6:35 p.m. We will call, please.
Supervisor Gamino.
Here.
Moonin.
Here.
Beal.
Here.
Flotecker.
Here.
And Chairman Osterman.
Here.
That's 5 present.
Thank you. We'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. A moment of silence, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4 is comment from citizens present. You are a lone citizen tonight. Would you like to make any comments?
Oh, no, mine is the gross property.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to item 5, department reports. We have the clerk treasurer report. Anything you want to just report on? Or?
Let me pull it up. Okay. So I just kind of went through some things. I started June 15th. It's been a rockin' 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Been pretty good. I actually like working here. It's been very enjoyable. You guys are on a good path to go things. So kind of went through some of the stuff that I've been dealing with. Obviously, elections hit, and this is only through June, so my July report will have a significantly larger amount of election-related stuff. But yeah, just kind of spent the first week and a half of reviewing a lot of stuff, and then a lot of the department heads have been asking for requests of information, a lot of research and past minutes and other information, just finding things in the code and making a list of some ordinances that should be updated or changed or gotten rid of, as the planners have been for quite a while for like the zoning code. So nothing big to report. Any questions on anything?
Yeah. Have you done anything with the treasurers?
Not in June. I didn't really get to a whole lot other than working with Natasha about some procedural stuff.
Do we have stuff in?
There's bank records we're handling. A lot of the treasurer duties and the statutes have more to do with tax collections, and there's not any of that going on right now. So.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Steve.
Welcome.
Parks Department report.
Well, John's been busy as usual, keeping the trails and green spaces kept up. They removed the old community park sign, put a new one up at Community Park, preparing sports fields, weekly mowing, continuing to train seasonal and full-time employees, cleaning restrooms, and taking down ash trees. I would note that John is on vacation Thursday, Friday, and Monday.
Any questions for Katia? Thank you. Parks Department report. Excuse me, Public Works Department report.
From DPW Director Joe Stefano Jr., he placed a report in our packet. Just some of the major things that went on. Shouldering started, specifically in Wooded Hills, Plainview Parkway, and Tamarack Road areas. There's a few culvert replacements done by our DPW. And there was some weed spraying. As usual, they're doing roadside mowing. And Joe has a list of meetings that we went in the time of year. So, and that just normal summer duties.
All right, any questions for Mark? Thank you, Mark. All right, supervisor reports. Does anyone have anything to report at this time?
I just think, just normal things. We did pass a new, on the last meeting regarding if anybody comes into the area or in the area and they need a drain pump. I don't know if you all know what a drain pump is. It's when the house is lower than the road. We just said that they're on their own with that because we pay for the current ones now and we just can't continue to do that because there's like 32 lots, I want to say, in our district that would require them, and we just, and I know another municipality on the south end that they have a cutoff, you're on your own after that, so that's what we chose to do. So that's it, we're trying to work and keep our bills down and do what we need to do for the district.
we might have a public safety committee meeting. We have a couple issues, but I want to talk to Joe and Captain Hannes about them before we schedule a meeting. So.
Okay. Thank you.
My pen ran out. Can I go grab a new one? Thank you.
Item 7 is the minutes. We have A, approval of the May 11th and July 13th regular town board meeting minutes and the July 11th and 15th special town board meeting minutes. All right. There's some changes that were noted. Anyone have any more discussion on the minutes or any motion on them?
I cited some clarification from the clerk as far as looking at the May 11th meeting. And yes, we can motion those with changes if there's changes.
Yeah.
You want to motion that, or is that something under there?
Nope, you can make a motion with that correction, and that correction had to do with you listed as being part of a motion, right?
Correct.
Was it only one instance that you saw? Because I
Yeah,
thought I tried to find you and take you out.
it was for the DPW report.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 11th, 2020 minutes with changes to the page 2 public works section for 981, the public works review.
Is there a second? Second by Kadia. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business.
Oh, you want to do the other minutes? Because you just mentioned May 11th.
Yeah, I'll make the second motion for the July 13th minutes. As
And did you want to do July 11th and 15th also? You can do them all.
I'll make all three of them.
I'll second the rest of them.
Thank you.
I take motion to be seconded. Rest of the minutes. Any other discussion on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Right. Item 8, new business. The vouchers payable report for report of 15/23 through 7/23 of 2020 in the amount of $150,132.98. The major outlays were $64,034 to the Waukesha County Treasurer for the August 2023 services, $20,360.50 to Kerwin Hammes for the incorporation and general legal for the legal bills, $14,792.68 for Premier building inspections for the July contract building inspections, $9,042.70 for public administration associates. That's what we use for administrative search. And $4,711.30 automotive truck service that was for the brakes on our Tinker 2691. Anyone have any questions or comments on the voucher? Or motion?
I make a motion we accept as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Rebecca? Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B is retirement agreement for Paul Pitchler from the Parks Department. This started off as something potentially that needed to come to the board, but it's since, I don't have to leave it out, it's kind of turned into a standard retirement. So Paul is one of the employees that gets our 3-year insurance benefit for 25 years of service. So he'd get 3 years, he's 62 years old. He has also the frozen sick time benefit that paid out at 100%. In fact, he has,
How many years has he been with us?
25. So he has 739 hours, 739.36 exact sick time hours that get paid out at a 1-to-1. He has some cumulative vacation and sick time left also, not sick time is paid out at a different rate. He also, this is one thing that we probably should talk about, is he is retiring before the end of the year. So the vacation time is one of the things that we probably have to discuss. He's not, he's leaving on his own, he's retiring. So technically he would have accrued sick time over the year, which would come out to 133, I believe, 133 and a third hours at the end of when he'd be leaving, which is basically the end of August. So when I talked to him, he would be basically September 1st, his health insurance benefit would start, and then we would pay him out for his sick time, his leftover vacation, and then obviously the other sick time, 2 different sick time portions, and any other pay. And we have that money put aside as part of the identifying money in our general fund was for this. So the only thing that's not vacation for the year, so I guess that's something we would need to discuss a little bit more than the standard.
How many months is he eligible for?
5.
5?
Right. So,
your question about him or not?
well, typically we don't get vacation until January. I feel we should pay him. I don't think there's any question in my mind we should pay him for me, but it's a little different on retirement compared to if some employee were just to leave. We historically, that's been different. We haven't done it. We've done banks, not accrued. But
So you're saying when vacation is granted in January is in question?
the vacation he was granted in January is not. This would be vacation he would get in January 2021. So he's one of the employees. This is where this gets weird. He earned his vacation, like he worked a year and then got his vacation. So depending on how you view this, he technically accrued his vacation the first
This
year.
year.
Right. So the vacation he's earning this year, he would get.
So is it
2021.
prorated for the percentage of the year he worked?
Yes.
He only works
It would be 2/3
2/3
of the year. Correct. So he would get 130. It's $200. So it would be 133.33 hours.
I'd be in favor of paying him out for accrued vacation. He's a long-standing good employee. And also, too, he's got a possibility to come back and fill a seasonal employee right now as far as DPW goes.
There's potential there. He has to be with the WRS.
And a 90-day subject.
So,
I'd be in favor. I think it's the right thing to do. I think that's going to be our current handbook, the proposed handbook that's in limbo. That'll be
and that's where some of this comes in, is because we have an existing handbook. We also have a handbook that's been in production since 2011. So, and they are a little different. They are, but I guess what I'd be asking for at this point is just if you give myself and staff the ability to negotiate this with Paul under the terms that we just discussed. I don't foresee an actual agreement, so to say, it's just this is what we have. I mean, this is not really different than anything we've done with Freddie Weber or Sammy Gelman or Randy. The only thing I think we got to figure out is how the insurance benefit works. So what we did with Randy is Randy went out and got his insurance and we paid for it. Where I believe the intent was that whoever it was, whatever the town was going to pay, that's what we did. And if you want to stay in the town plan, but that's something that we can research a little bit. I think the intent would be to keep them on our insurance at least until the end of the year.
does that not make him an employee? Not as a
Well, it would be like a Cobra plan. We would have to pay him. Or he could pay him, we pay him back.
I guess what I'm worried about is that a separation then? I mean, in terms of WRS, or is that retired but still receiving benefit if we're not separated?
If he's in Cobra.
We've never done that.
Never had him on Cobra. Any employee has a right to remain on Cobra after they're separated.
Right, I guess for purposes of
Cobra, when you're on Cobra, you need a full amount.
Right.
But we've guaranteed, so since he's got this 3-year benefit, it's like he was continuing as an employee.
Doesn't Medicare keep you at 62 now?
65.
65, I go, oh, I was 62.
65.
3 years or 3 months?
2 years.
2 years.
It's 2 years.
And you technically can't change them to Cobra for those 3 years, because Cobra only lasts a year or 2 months. So that would violate.
But I mean, if we could keep him on, if there's a way for the next 3 months to keep him on, he has the option to stay at Cobra, no matter what.
Right, for that term. But if you keep them on for 3 years, that is Rosemark's question.
Right.
Find it would have to
And I don't think he had intent on that. It'd just be, so he's got his deductibles paid and everything up so far this year, so it would be good to stay on the same plan. And he'd have the option no matter what.
Right.
So, but we would still be paying the portion that we would normally pay.
So are we going to pay employee share plus employer share? Or are we
I believe it's just an employee share. We're going to pull out the old, this is like back to negotiations.
He pays the difference then?
I believe he would pay the employee, just like he's an employee now.
Yeah.
So he considers to pay the employee portion, we pay the employer portion benefit. But I don't know if that's all worked with Randy. I did not handle that. I mean, that didn't come to the board either.
I mean, I guess I would think if it's 3 years of continued insurance, he would still be responsible for his 15 under that.
And what had happened, like when Randy went out and got his own insurance, and then he paid for it, and then we reimbursed him.
But our costs put it in.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to say that's what happened, but I honestly not. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess I think the right thing to do is find the last contract that we had that guaranteed his grandfather.
At a minimum, we would be paying our portion. But it was made, I know originally when it was discussed, it was that we paid, like, if you would remain on the health insurance, that's the benefit we paid. But we'll have to look back and see. But the big thing is it falls in the Richard's direction on, can we do this at one time? And we had gone back and forth a little bit today, and it kind of settled at the end of August, which would give them that extra 133 hours, and the rest of it is approved tonight, which we get that sent out before too. But there's not a prepared agreement here tonight.
So he's the second last one.
So John can get it,
Mark.
Mark can also get it.
Mark,
Those are the last two.
oh, we have to give him what we've given everybody else.
I think just for clarity's sake, because I think instead of rehashing it when the next two retire, we just, I guess we just give memorandum of understanding, and I think it'll be a quick reference when
Right.
the next two retire.
And there was quite a few years between the last couple. I believe Randy left with Matt Janet came in when he was here.
Yeah.
And Freddie was still, Jeff was here, and Freddie left.
Fred was quite a while ago.
And Sandy was still with Jeff, I think, too. Yeah.
Right.
So the only one we've had since then would have been Randy. So we look back and see how we
I think everybody else, they just kept the same insurance and they paid their portion.
Yeah, I think Sandy for sure. I thought we actually somehow were involved in that, but that was many, many years ago. We'll look back and see. But I mean, in general concept, the board is this something you want to come back with, or is it back on a morning meeting until 24th of August? Or something just a staff and I go through.
Is he willing to wait for us to do that? I guess he's looking at it.
But he has to put in notices and everything if he wants to do that.
Oh, well, pretty much an agreement to get on 2/3 or whatever it is.
I mean, the rest of it is kind of, it's in those agreements.
Exactly.
We just have to figure out how to do the health insurance. It's not a question of whether he gets it, we just have to figure out how to do it.
Right, I guess for his sake, I would want to make sure he's not an employee and get penalized for not separating.
Right, and we've done this 3 times already, so we'll just have to figure out how we did it, because it worked out. So far, we've been successful. Gotta believe we can still do it.
Yeah, I know in discussions with Director Stefano, he's willing to help out the town as far as coming back on an as-needed part-time seasonal basis.
Right, so, and if he leaves at the end, so if he had 90 days, so December, October, November, it should be December 1st before the eligible one. But I don't think we see a whole lot of snow before then. Anyway, just jinxed us.
Knock out the boiler limit.
Yeah, this thing. Okay.
Yeah. As well, motion on it.
If he would have just authorized myself and staff to,
I'll make a motion to approve a agreement with Paul Pickler from the Parks, or the DPW. No,
he's Parks.
Yeah. And direct town chairman and staff to finalize.
Is there a second? Yeah.
Can I just ask clarification?
But
I know you said approve, but you don't have anything to approve. Technically, you'd be giving the chair the authorization to negotiate and to execute. I just want to make sure that that's clear. Okay.
Second, okay with that?
Yep.
All right. You're welcome.
All right, any other discussion on it? It would be within the general, I don't know if you'll make it part of the motion, but within the general terms that we just discussed tonight, or do you feel confident? You want to make it part of the motion, or just leave it as we discussed?
You want specifics in that?
I know what to do, but it's up to you.
I think the discussion can.
It'll be within the general confines of what we just discussed tonight. It's not. Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 2 is preserve at Harvest Ridge Development Phase 1 letter of credit reduction request number 2, in the amount of $408,880.34. So we have a letter in here from Kunkel explaining everything. Looks like there's going to be a balance of $190,578.67 left. Is there any questions or comments on the letter of credit reduction? Is there a motion on it?
I'll make a motion that we approve the letter of credit reduction request number 2 in the amount of $408,880.34 for the preserve at Harvest Ridge.
Moved by Becky. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark. Any other discussion?
Can I ask why they want to use? Becky? Just curious.
Why the letter of credit reduced?
Yeah.
That's all the grading, storm sewer placement of base course and asphalt lower level have been completed.
Have you completed? Okay. I know they've been working on it. Okay. Thank you.
We're keeping the final 20%. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item D, the Preserve at Harvest Ridge Development Phase 2 letter of credit reduction request number 1, in the amount of $191,588. We also have the letter memo in here from Kunkel outlining why, and the balance on the letter of credit would be $108,610. Questions on this one? Is there a motion on this one?
I'll make a motion to approve the preserve and harvest Ridge development phase 2 letter of credit reduction request number 1 in the amount of $191,588.01.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tadia. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item E is an ordinance to repeal and create section 2.12 of the Town of Lisbon Code relating to attending meetings for video conferencing or teleconferencing. Steve and I talked about this one this week. If you look back a number of years, we had the old discussions back in 07 and 08, I think it was, about phoning into meetings. And I had thought there was actually something done back then. We couldn't find it. There was discussion, but no official action was taken. So this would give us an ordinance identifying for Zoom meetings, or that we can do it for Zoom or teleconferencing over the phone. So, any questions on ordinance 6-20?
Only thing I had a question on was the accessibility to closed sessions. Should they occur during this time? My concern would be over the security of using a platform such as Zoom, which initially they would everybody could dial in. We have to terminate and create a second Zoom.
So that's been a quandary of a lot of municipalities who've been using this, and from my understanding, yes, that has been the process and protocol to create a second Zoom meeting just for that particular one, so everyone leaves this one Zoom meeting, goes to the other one, and then comes back to the original one. There's other ways of doing it. You can just record the meeting for later broadcasting and then splice it out, but that's usually places that have communications departments that can do stuff like that.
And is it typical to get the consent of the presiding officer versus notice to a clerk or somebody to set it up? I'm just thinking, APA type stuff. Should there be a need for someone's consent versus simply making a request?
It's really up to you. I mean, you don't have to make that as part of it. That can be a change to the ordinance. I frankly took this ordinance from another municipality, so that was their choice.
I mean, I would think that we should make that something available upon anyone's request. I don't know that anyone would unreasonably withhold consent, but it seemed like an additional barrier versus just asking for it and making sure it's set up.
You're talking 2.06 sub C.
Yep.
You're the presiding officer, Joe. What do you think?
I'm trying to think of scenarios of where it would be potentially an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that in general, when you want something to be accessible, and I think this is one of those kind of ordinances intended for public accessibility, especially under this, that there shouldn't be a triggering need to get approval for it.
But I don't want to grant it as a right either.
Are you saying to the public or to the board?
Well, whomever. What would be the reasons not to allow it just upon?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think, but I'd like to have an ability, like, obviously I wouldn't withhold this to anybody unless there was some really good reason for it. I don't know what that, I was trying to think of what that reason might be. But it's kind of on the spot, so it's a matter of, I can't think why anybody wouldn't do it, but
What about accessibility for, because I know on the end of our agenda we say that board members are accessible after the meeting. And essentially you're making your conversation accessible whether you function as Zoom now.
I guess the only one I can think of right off the bat, let's say you're going to go into a closed session, and one of the people is in a room with one of the board members, and there's no requirement that you have to be in a closed room. And you know that and this would be an issue with us, I know, but I'm thinking future-wise. You know that other board members not in a private room. I would not want to authorize that to happen, but I would have no choice if it was worded that way.
But if it's an accessibility ordinance, I would think that it would be better to put that limiting language in there than to leave the limiting language as the standard. So wouldn't it be upon request unless a need for a closed session arises? and then with consent. So you limit the limitation versus making the limitation the rule.
I don't think it is a limitation by rule.
Well,
I mean,
the
if you'd
limitation
have
is
to-
having to get consent.
One thing I could offer is, even with this wording, any chair could just make an understanding with the clerk that if someone wants to do it, it's consent. So the clerk knows that there's always going to be consent. You'll know that there's always going to be consent. But without the language, then there's no restriction. So maybe a chair doesn't want people to do it for whatever reason. Again, I can't think of a reason either, but I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, wording is if, unless there's a reason, I guess, or unless consent is granted with unless the chair, for some reason, has a reason not to. I don't know how you word that, but I mean, would you really want to remove it so that you have no choice but to absolutely have to do a Zoom meeting? So what if the internet's down?
Then that's it. So I think you could change that and say, appearing remotely, any governmental body, take out that first line of with the consent and instead add at the end of the sentence, unless circumstances require that in-person appearance be required. I mean, you can just split the language.
Who dictates having an appear in person?
That was going to be my
Circumstances
question.
are required. But it just gives
Doesn't
the
that cover it, just saying with consent of the presiding officer?
because what you're saying here is that somebody who might need an accommodation has to get permission, versus putting the onus the other way. Somebody who wants the accommodation gets it upon request unless there's a reason you can't.
This is just an official. Yeah, this isn't like the public, so this is just an official.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not denying the public here.
I mean, could say there was an adversarial relationship, could the chair exclude somebody? Say the chair was not in favor of a certain board member who could not attend. Could the chair essentially exclude a person based off of this?
And this did happen. I can just think back. There was somebody appearing by phone way before COVID in a meeting that I was in that people did not want to have appearing by phone. That was their regular appearance way. And so the chair did not allow them to do that. That person ended up resigning that position. I think that the better practice is to allow it unless there's a circumstance. I don't think it should be at one person to them. That was about 2 years ago.
I don't know how to word it. I guess I don't know. I wasn't anticipating issues.
I mean, is the concern that somebody would appear remotely indefinitely?
That's usually the concern with that.
Well, that's a genuine concern too.
Well, unless somebody is a full participant. I mean, that's what we're learning during the COVID era, right? Is how to work remotely and be a full participant.
Yeah, the COVID area, when the COVID area ends,
But there are
and then
many.
a board member never shows up to a meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that would be a problem, and I think nobody would probably do that. But I think also boards have learned that they maybe function more efficiently in a lot of contexts by doing it remotely. I mean, if everybody is.
I don't think the word efficient would be used there.
Well,
I think they can function, but I can't say that
For some, it is working.
better
I mean,
attendance maybe, but not. I mean, efficiently is in person.
I think
You can't have the same back and forth over a computer as you can over in person.
see, and others have found that, and just, I mean, I'm just thinking about in Milwaukee, they found it so much easier to organize a meeting and get
I
everybody
would say
there.
organization.
So, well, that's what I'm thinking of efficient, being able to actually get people. I mean, it just, in terms of how to do it, I don't know. I would prefer that language.
I don't care either way personally. I'm just trying to think of a reason. You don't know until you get in the middle of the situation.
Right. I think that'd be my only concern is that somebody now is not available to the public except for telecommunicating. If they live in the town, have residence here, but spend 10 months in Florida and watch it here, 10 months out of the year on Zoom,
somebody could say the circumstances that require it. I mean, so you still have that. I don't think anyone would realistically do that.
Anticipating a hostile chairman.
No, I mean, but the issue did come up. I'm just confused. Are you talking to board members or to anybody else?
Board.
But is it, well, is it,
This is a limited to officials.
it says any government body subject to open meeting. So you're talking about any government.
Yeah, any board, committee,
An official may attend.
Right.
I mean,
So a plan commissioner, a park committee member, those are officials because they've been appointed to.
right.
Somebody on the public safety committee.
Right, but it's just
Talking about
general
any-
public. It's officials, people that are making the decisions at the meeting.
So just explain, you said you can have the first sentence just changing around now. Explain how you change it around again.
I would start the sentence with the word any. So instead of with the consent of the presiding officer, it would say any government body subject to Lisbon's meeting laws, or an official of any government body may attend a meeting of that governmental body using telephonic or video conferencing unless circumstances require in-person appearances. Period. That's what I would change.
what's a requirement for the person?
Yeah. Circumstances.
Dictates
What kind of
that.
That's
circumstances?
arbitrary.
Unless the chairman dictates the circumstances. Well, so put your
So essentially,
presiding
you're
officer.
putting the first
Yep.
sentence in the last sentence.
A little bit, but then the presiding officer needs to say, no, here's the circumstance and identify what it is versus wantonly just deciding, no, I don't give consent to remote appearance.
We're going to need a 30-page addendum for this.
No,
Are you
just change
sure?
the sentence.
I guess that community which we minute on this, have they had this in stance for
Did
a
you
while,
put
or
it-
is this?
No, this is brand new.
So who did you copy this one from? From the municipality?
West Dallas.
West Dallas. So they have this identical one.
Yes. And I copied them because I trust the attorney there, and he's very simple and matter of fact. He's not overbearing with his ordinances where other people would have probably 50 paragraphs dealing with this one topic.
I just want to change the
Doesn't it say the same thing?
Not really. As the burden shifts. To identify a reason why it can't be remote versus making something that someone else's permission. It's just it's a burden shift.
What everyone else think?
I don't care either. I guess I have to respect the attorney in who's speaking. You know? I don't have to, but I will.
We're going from automatically assuming that the chairman or that the person, like giving the chairman the responsibility to, or the person to prove why to making the chairman, the presiding
Say why
officer
not.
prove why not.
Yep.
I guess for you, Mr. Chairman, to go back to the point of you'd be worried about, say, you bring somebody in remotely to a closed session.
How do I prove that?
How do you prove that? And I guess if I was in your position, I would question the last sentence of paragraph subsection C. Because as soon as you allow them to appear remotely, you can't necessarily change the circumstance.
Well, we've crossed this bridge. So we did, we discussed candidates for our administrator, and you, sir, to my left appeared remotely, and it was closed session, and that worked just fine. So we can bridge those issues. Other remote or closed sessions, I came in recognizing that there was a need for people to be here and not there. But I think
Right,
there's
no,
a
I
bridge
guess what I'm saying is, I agree the chairman trusted me on that it was closed. But should the chairman have concern over some of his singularities inside of their own part of the closed session, he does not have the power as soon as he grants them to keep them out.
I think that would be the circumstances that require
have to approve that. What if they say no? Burden's on me.
The burden's
Right.
on you. Well,
I
and
gotta
what
drive
if,
over
what
to
if
their house and ask
consent is
them if they-
unreasonably withheld in this? I mean, we can go through that lawyer, ask.
That's why I think you gotta put some trust in the presiding officer. If you don't trust the presiding officer, it shouldn't be that.
Okay, but it hasn't.
One,
You know,
I think so. Not 100%.
I guess I'd be in favor of leaving that first sentence because that puts the onus on the presiding officer to actually have that conversation with whoever is allowed in. If it's not in there, I don't think that conversation is required to be had.
I don't think this is ever going to be an issue. It's probably talking about this for nothing.
I guess I'll make a motion to repeal and recreate section 2.02 of the Town of Lisbon Code relating to attending meetings through video conferencing or telecommunicating, and that is as presented in the package.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? He's accepting it as it's written. Putting it all on the big guy in the middle. Or woman. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
no.
Motion carries 4-1. That's our first split decision in a long time.
That's what democracy's
I did not
about.
think this was coming on this. You would have told me this would have been the big discussion piece of the night, I would have laughed. All right. 4-1. Adamantly opposed. Given. Item 9, Plan Commission recommendation. 8, request for Newman Developments, Inc. for the property located on the west side of Hillside Drive adjacent to Beverly Lane in the town of Lisbon. Tax key LSBT 0205.995 and LSBT 0208.987 for the final plat for Phase 1 of the Hillside Ridge subdivision. We discussed this at the Plan Commission level, and it passed unanimously. I believe it was even 7-0. Everybody there that night. Any questions or comments on? Is there a motion on the side?
I can make a motion for the request for Newman Developments Incorporated for the property located on the west side of Hillside Drive adjacent to Beverly Lane, as written in the agenda and described in the notes.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any final discussion?
Mr. Chair, can I offer one thing? So I've noticed this with other places. You might want to reference the planner letter dated July 23rd. I've gotten the planners to write up updated memos from the Plan Commission based on the Plan Commission's discussion.
I'll
So
clarify my note motion to re-identify July 23rd, 2020. Letter from Dear Vicar drafted by.
you can just say
Rachel
planner
Holloway
report.
and Joshua Landon.
Is the second okay with that?
Yes.
All right. Everybody understands the motion? Any final discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item B, a request from Mike Carrick for the properties located at West 275 North 9101 Lake 5 Road, tax key LSBT 0167.999.001 and LSBT 0167.999 for a final plat for the Haas Farm subdivision. This also passed the Planning Commission 7-0. Any questions on this? Is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat for the Haas Farm subdivision located at West 275 North 9101 Lake 5 Road, tax key LSBT 0167.999.001 and LSBT 0167.999, including the comments from the town planner in a letter dated July 23rd, 2020.
For a second to that motion.
Second.
Mark. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item C is request for Frank Gross for the property located at North 80 West 23792 Plainview Road, tax B LSBT 0187.998.009, to approve a 4-lot certified survey map and associated driveway easements. This also is a unanimous decision of the Plan Commission. Any discussion on this? We finally got to it.
Yeah, I only started this back in the 90s.
Any questions or comments?
Do they know, do they work out for conventional or non? Okay. And they're for the front of the lots. Yes. Okay.
Any questions or comments? Or is there a motion on the item?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for Frank Gross for the property located at N80W23792 Plainview Road. There's been tax code 0187.998.009 to approve a 4-lot certified survey map and associated driveway easements.
I'm second.
Linda?
Yeah, there is 723 also.
And I'll amend my motion to include the preparation for 7/23/2020.
Second, okay with that?
Yes.
All right, motion and second, both okay. Any final discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Finally,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
A long stretch out of
So when are you going to start?
Oh, that's up to my wife.
Oh,
I let her make all the decisions.
wise man.
With all the money,
Yeah.
so I let her decide.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Item 10 is boards, committees, and commission appointments and elections. Discussion and possible action of following appointments. A, reappointments by Chairman Osborne of Ed Nelson, Steve Munoz, and Joe Pitchler as members of the Town of Lisbon Park Committee, and the 3-year terms expire July 1st, 2023. I would ask the board that we do reappoint.
Make a motion to approve the chairman's reappointments.
I second.
By Mark Mooney, second by Linda Deal. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 11 is upcoming town boards, commissions, and committee meetings.
Mr. Chair, I just want to ask Supervisor Moonen if he likes that. What I put on the agenda? 'Cause he suggested that.
I think that's wonderful that you let the meetings up. That's a good one.
But yeah, Mark showed me a sample. So, Mr. Chair, I did want to mention, obviously, Town Plan Commission's canceled on August 10th, but Town Board. The Plan Commission on August 13th, there's a couple public hearings on there that involve rezoning, so it's going to be a joint Town Board and Plan Commission public hearing. So just plan on being at that meeting. Well, you're already
Need
there.
some board members.
The August 13th Plan Commission?
Something's wrong here.
It's the 17th for the park committee.
I was going to say something's wrong
Oh,
here.
sorry. I'll change that for the minutes.
That's a joint.
That's what happens when we need 11 feet for venue. Since it's made a
Good point.
Which changed since this was finalized, actually.
Yeah.
No, this was finalized before
Yeah.
we had that meeting on Thursday, so we just didn't think about it. So, Yeah, a good point to that will be at the Richard Young Fire Station, August 24th. Town board meeting. All right. Any questions on the meeting agenda? Meetings agenda. All right, item 12 is adjournment.
I want to be there.
Is there a second?
I said.
Linda, discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? You're out. 7:26.